My name is Dr. Dina Porterfield, and I'd like to welcome you to Roberts Wesleyan College. We are so glad that you are here and that you made time for this leadership breakfast. I understand that for some of you, this is your first time on campus, and I want to welcome you. As we get started, I want to begin with a thank you. First of all, to the team that coordinated and organized all of this from the college. That is Lisa Tiffin and our advancement team. We want to give them a thank you for their work. And Lisa's right down here. And then to Ann Costello and to Mary Ward-Royce-Turner, who at a breakfast helped us come up with this wonderful idea of bringing Tom to campus and opening this up for the community to hear his story. For some of you, you have heard that before, but for many of us, it'll be our first time. And so we want to say thank you to them. Notice that we are celebrating 150 years at Roberts Wesleyan College. And it's an anniversary that we celebrate and have been celebrating all year. And we welcome you as part of that celebration. In 1866, the Reverend B.T. Roberts and his wife Ellen, with a few friends, had a big dream, but very little money. They were church leaders, social activists, and business entrepreneurs who allied themselves with the other 19th century leaders, such as Susan B. Anthony, Frederick Douglass, and Charles Finney. Their dream? To establish a school that would be anchored in faith and engaged in the world, advocating equality and justice for all, and the improvement of society through education for character. Their story is both fascinating and inspirational, because it is a story of how they founded an institution on a solid foundation and trusted for God's provision to meet their needs in even the tough times. We believe that their faith and their dream remains alive and well at Roberts Wesleyan College and has brought us to where we are today, where we can affirm and encourage leadership and an entrepreneurial spirit in each other for the benefit of all. It is in this tradition that I would like to open in a word of prayer. Please bow your heads with me. Heavenly Father, we thank you for our rich heritage of faith and of leadership and individuals who fought passionately for what they believed. We are so blessed to live in a land of opportunity and freedom where we can come together as a community to learn from each other and inspire each other to continue to serve in ways that benefit those less fortunate. We thank you for your guidance in the past and pray for your wisdom today, that we will be equipped to build a future that is a brighter place and holds a better hope for all people. As you have used our founders in the past, we pray that you will use us today and give us all that we need to work according to your will and purpose. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Today's going to be a fun event. And over on this card, you see a hashtag that if you have a question as we get through this program, you can tweet and make sure you do a hashtag so that I can see those questions. How the program's going to go is that Tom is going to come out and share his story, and then we're going to have a Q&A here in this auditorium. Our students have submitted questions, and we're going to begin with those, and if we have time, I will go to the Twitter. It's not the Twitter, I apologize. I will go to Twitter. The students try to correct me on this all the time, and I mess it up. I will go to Twitter, and we'll add those questions if we have time in the program. We are so honored to have one of Rochester's greats here with us this morning. As you may know, Tom Golisano founded Paychex in 1971 with just $3,000 and a good idea. I might just say a great idea. Today, Paychex boasts $3 billion in revenue, provides payroll and HR services for over 600,000 small and mid-sized businesses, employs more than 13,500 people, 4,300 in Rochester area alone. It's still growing. The DNC recently noted that there are 200 openings in several fields right now. And Paychex is the second largest payroll company in America, but the largest in companies that they serve. But Paychex is only one of Tom's legacies in this area. Beyond the legacy of a thriving company, Tom is well known for philanthropy. He has given both personally and through the Golisano Foundation, using his resources to make a real difference across our community, from hospitals and healthcare to colleges and universities, and to the very important work of special education and inclusion. Tom has been a good friend to Roberts Wesleyan College and many of you. In 2007, we celebrated the opening of the Blase Thomas Golisano Library, which is a beautiful, award-winning facility on our campus. I want to say thank you to Tom for that transformational gift to our students and community, which we enjoy every single day. At this time, I would like to welcome to the stage Tom Golisano. Please join me in welcoming.
Everybody hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay. I got a phone call from Roberts Wesleyan. It seemed like the president wanted to ask me a question. I said, what's the question? She said, do you believe in the Constitution of the United States? I said, of course. She said, do you believe in the Bill of Rights and freedom of speech? I said, sure. She said, would you mind giving a free one? All right, this is a college. I got a quiz.
That's good.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question. If you know the answer, don't yell it out. We'll get to a point later in the forum where we'll find out who has the answer. It is election time, so here's the question. 3 presidents of the United States were elected president of this country. Woodrow Wilson, Jack Kennedy, and Dwight Eisenhower. Which one of their mothers did not vote for their son? Anybody got the answer right away? Hold up your hand. Wow. Oh, there's one. Oh, she works for him. You're disqualified. Anybody? Okay. I'll tell you right now. You ladies, women couldn't vote when Woodrow Wilson was elected. Okay, the reason I'm here today is, I think you might want to hear a little bit about the story of Paychex and how it was created and where it is today and so on and so forth. And I'm going to do that. Take about maybe a half an hour and then we're going to do some Q&A. I grew up in Running New York, went to Running High School. I was a B+A student doing C work. More interested in playing baseball and being a social butterfly. Didn't take SATs, I didn't know what they were. I got out of high school, applied at Kodak, Xerox, and Bausch & Lomb. Nobody was interested in hiring me. Fortunately, my father got me a job at Lincoln Rochester Trust Company, which is now Chase Bank. And my job was to be downstairs in the vault, below sea level, below ground. And I used to prove packages of money. The department stores, you remember department stores downtown? They used to send in deposits, and $51 bills would be in a wrapper. It was my job to take the wrapper off, make sure there were 50 bills, make sure they were facing all the same way, the same denomination, put my wrapper back on, and put my stamp on. So I did that all day for about 3 weeks. I said, there's got to be more to life than this. So I applied at Alpha Tech, and they said, yeah, come to school, but it's too late for this year. You're going to have to come back next year. Plus, you have no money to pay for room and board or books or fees or anything like that. So I worked at the bank for years, lived at home, and saved my pennies and went to Alpha Tech. I was a better student at Alpha than I was at the Running Way, that was for sure. The head of the accounting department liked me, and he said, Tom, he said, if you go to Albany State Teachers College and come back here, I'll hire you to teach in the accounting department. Boy, what a great, interesting idea that was, and flattering. So I applied to Albany State, I got accepted. They sent me my curriculum for the next 2 years. At Alfred, all my courses were business courses. At Albany, they were going to be all liberal arts courses. And I looked at that and I said, I don't think I want to do that. So consequently, all my words today will be 2-syllable words. Came back to Rochester, had a wife, 2 children, and went to work for a company called Electronic Accounting Systems, EAS. payroll processor liked big companies, 50 employees and above, which was the predominant area that payroll processors operated in back in those days, 1971. So I went to work for this company, and I was a salesperson, a sales manager. And I'm driving down the street one day, and all of a sudden, most of the businesses in this country have less than 50 employees. So I went to the library, which impressed my librarian, and found out that 98% of the companies in America have 50 employees or less. And there didn't seem to be a payroll product for them. So my mind went to work, and I came up with the idea for Paychex. Actually, it was called Paymaster back in 1971, and the reason for that is Paymaster, for those of you who don't know this, used to be the person in the armed services that passed it out the monthly paychecks. So I thought it would be a good name, Paymaster. But then we found out there was a company producing the office equipment called Paymaster. We had to change our name to Paychex. But what Paychex is today, just to give you a little overview, and Tina already covered it, we have branch offices all over the country, 600,000 clients. We did 12 million W-2s last year, 3 billion in revenue. Our market valuation, everybody know what market valuation is, market cap? Shares outstanding times the share price. Tells you the total value of the company is a little over $20 billion. And if you invested $10,000 in 1983, it'd be worth about $4 billion today. I don't know how many times I've heard that. Okay, when I started Paychex, I had no idea the thing would ever become what it has become. But here's some of the innovative things we did. First of all, if you're a 5-person employer in the state of New York and in most of the United States, you are an unpaid tax collector. You must collect taxes from employees. In some cases, you must match them or create your own, and you don't get paid for it. You pass the money on to the federal and state governments, they don't reward you, but they will do. If you do it wrong or don't pay it on time, they'll come after you, and they come after you very heavy-handed. So this payroll service idea I had, I came up with 3 things that were unique. First one was, the client has to transfer information to the payroll processor about what wages to be paid, what hours worked, what deductions, and so forth. Well, the old method was fill it out on the transmittal sheet, have somebody pick up the transmittal sheet, bring it to the payroll processing unit, and then it's processed. Well, for a 10-person company or a 20-person company, that seems kind of onerous. Why not have them call in on the telephone? We'll read the names of the employees to them, they'll tell us exactly what they want to do with the employee. If they need help with interpretation, overtime laws or unemployment, things like that, we'll help them right there on the phone. Very simple. The next thing, if you are that 5-person employer, you have a minimum in New York State of having to pay out or fill out 49 payroll tax returns every year. Now, that is a burden for a small business. We were going to do the payroll tax returns as part of the service. Nobody else was doing that. And third thing, we had to price it so people could afford to pay it, or would be willing to pay for it. The typical minimum payroll processing charge in 1970 was about $24 a pay period. Well, we started out at $5 a pay period for the first 5 employees. Well, we got started on Alexander Street. My first plateau was fairly limited ambition. I wanted to get 300 clients in Rochester, New York, and live happily ever after. You gotta move to Florida first. Well, I got that 300 client goal. It took me 5 years. Now, I don't want to say anything about my sales ability, but today, Paychex sells 2,000 clients a week across the country. But it took me 5 years to get 300 in practice. Now, some of the things entrepreneurs have to deal with. Well, when I started the company, I had $3,000, that's all I had. And I put it into direct mail. I had a direct mail campaign hoping I could get a certain number of clients, which I didn't. From that point on, it was consumer loans. I had some friends at banks that were in consumer loans department because they wouldn't give you a business loan for something like this, but I got some friends who gave me consumer loans. Also used my credit cards. They all got canceled and taken away. In fact, I had a party for the employees. I think there's only like 6 or 7 of us. We had dinner at the States Arcade in Arundel, and I was going to treat everybody to dinner. Well, I gave him my American Express card, and the waiter comes back, hands it to me, it's torn in half. He says, they rejected you, and they want you to take your credit card away and destroy it. I said, great. Fortunately, they were a client. So I applied my tab to their bill. And they were happy. I had to sleep in the computer room, and it's a good thing my friends would come by and buy me lunch and dinner. Now, fortunately, my wife at the time also went to work, and she had never worked for a commercial company before. She went to work for a nonprofit organization, and that helped us get through. So we did that for the first 4 or 5 years. And then one day, somebody that I had hired at EAS walked into my office and said, "Tom, it looks like you're going to make it." I said, "Yeah, I think we're getting there." He says, "I'd like to get involved." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He says, "Well, can I buy in? Can I become a partner? What can I do?" I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we open an office in Syracuse, New York, and we'll go 50-50 on it. I'll put up half the money, you put up half the money, you manage it, you'll get paid when we can afford to pay you." He said, "Oh, obviously." So he said, "That's a good idea, I'll do it." Just a few months later, an employee of a client came in and said, "Tom, this is a great service. I want to go someplace else in the United States and start." I said, "Oh, I don't know, Chuck, I just met you. I don't know if I could be your partner." He says, "I don't want to be your partner anyway, but I'll be your franchisee." I said, "You mean I could charge you an upfront fee and come down and help you and get royalty on your revenue? And where do you want to go?" He said, "Miami." I said, "You're in." Chuck off to move down to Miami and started Paychex down there. We ended up with 11 partners and 6 franchisees. Because the next 4 years, I focused on spreading Paychex out across the country. What I did was each equity person, franchisee or partner, would get a specific territory. Usually it included 2, 3, or 4 cities that they could go and operate in. All of them, all 16 of them, or 17 of us, came from Rochester, New York. One lived in Houston, Texas, but all of them came from Rochester, New York. They were willing to move from Rochester, and if they weren't willing, I told them, or sold them on the idea in January, that helped. They were very entrepreneurish. They disliked large companies. They started with borrowed money, selling the equity in their home, and they had to support families and salaries of $12,000 to $15,000 a year for the first 2 or 3 years. Now, when I'm talking to these individuals, I had sort of a theme about being an entrepreneur. I said, here's why you should become an entrepreneur. You can't sell your job. But if you create a business, you can sell it. You can't pass it on to a son or a daughter or another heir. You can't do that with your job, but you can do that with your business. And also, if you become mentally and physically disabled, you can have a tough road to hoe if you were working for somebody. So that's how I encourage people to start entrepreneurial enterprises. I still feel the same way today as I did 40 years ago. And the audience got kind of quiet here. Was that a little too steep? For your employers in town, I feel bad for you. These guys, and there was a gal, they were young, they averaged 28 to 30, they had a high degree of integrity, they trusted them, varied backgrounds, most had never touched a computer before and knew nothing about payroll. Their backgrounds included engineers, teachers, various various sales jobs. And one guy, his last job was the doorman at the Boca Raton Hotel and Club in Florida. We used to joke with him that even if you failed, it would be a step up. Something significant happened during this period, and that is my spouse and I decided to go separate ways. And Gloria was her name. We sat down at the kitchen table one afternoon and said, Gloria, how are we going to settle this? You know, I'm involved in all these partnerships. I don't have any liquidity whatsoever. She said, I only want one thing from you. I said, what's that? She said, you haven't sold the New York City franchise yet. I want you to give it to me as a settlement. And that shocked me. I said, let me think about that. Thought about it for a week. We sat back down at the table. And I said, you still want to do this? And she said, yes. I said, great. I'll finance it. I'll help you buy a house. She's going to move to New Jersey, northern Jersey. We went down to New Jersey, found a home. The price of homes was sticker shock. And she needed an extra $10,000 for the down payment. I said, okay, I'll give it to you, but you've got to send me a check someday when you sell this house for the $10,000. About 5 years later, a check arrived in the mail, no note or anything, just a check for $10,000. Thought it was quite interesting. But part of the education on that is prenups can be very important in the business end. Quite frankly, I think they should teach it in high school. Okay, now we got these 17 people running around the country. Some of them doing very well, some of them doing mediocre, and one or two not doing so well. So plateau number 3, start thinking about certain things. Skill matching. Some guys were very good in sales and terrible in operations. And others were good in operations and terrible at sales. So we weren't matching our skills real well for the job to be done in each area. Secondly, the financial strength of each of these individual companies was weak. I mean, weak. Okay? They were unable to borrow money. Most of them had to rely on their mortgage applications to buy houses. And I signed a lot of those. The other thing that happened, which surprised the heck out of me, is their ambition levels started to change. Some people were very, very aggressive, wanted to open multiple cities. And other people were sitting in one city and said, I'm happy as Lark. That meant territory was going to go unsigned. And the fourth thing that many entrepreneurs don't think about, eventual liquidity. How are you going to walk away from this someday? Is it saleable? Can you borrow against it? Whatever. Even become a public company. So I invited all the members down to Nassau in the Bahamas and made a 2-day presentation to them on why we should consolidate into one company.